In this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter, a brand new arc is upon us, and coming with it is an assload of brand new characters and cameos from practically every major character in the Hunter x Hunter anime series. Not to mention, Hisoka returns, Illumi returns, and apparently Killua has a brother that he's never even mentioned before. Safe to say, it's a good time to be a Hunter x Hunter fan. So the amount of new characters that were introduced in this episode is almost overwhelming, but at least it's just a set group. It is this brand new group of characters known as the Zodiacs, and as their name would imply, they're based on the zodiac animals. They all have individual designs, characteristics, and they've all met up together to sort of vote how they're going to deal with this whole Netero dying thing, and they're all trying to come up with these rules for this big election. And let me just sort of run through like each of them one at a time. First up is Mizaistom. He is the ox, although his actual outfit makes him look more like a cow, and I really can't tell too much about his character yet. I really know nothing about any of their powers, to be honest, but he just looks like he's going to be a very stern and somewhat powerful character. There's also Peon, the rabbit girl. She's just sort of your atypical moe anime girl with rabbit ears, but she seems like she's going to be a fun addition. There's also Geru the snake, who not only looks creepy and slender, but actually has the ability to transform her arms into actual snakes. She demonstrates that in this episode when she goes after Pariston. And speaking of Pariston, he is the rat. He's definitely a character that a lot of people have told me to look out for, and I can see why. He has just got this constant shit-eating grin on his face, and he is so convinced that he's going to be the next chairman, and I just cannot help but think that he is going to be a bad guy. But that's just only the way he portrays himself. He just seems so underhanded. You just want to kick him in the balls. One of the funnier looking members of the group is Ginta, and he is the sheep, and he has a big afro, and he's also one of the more outspoken members of the group, because when they've all actually met together, he is crying like a little baby about Netero, and he just seems like he's going to be a lot of fun. There's Cluck, the chicken. She's basically just this girl who has like a chicken theme, and she's basically just the bitch of the group. There's Sayu the monkey, and surprise, surprise, it's another take on Sun Wukong, the character from Journey to the West. That just seems to be like something they're really obsessed with when it involves monkeys. The big rip dude with all the paint all over his face is known as Botabe, and he seems like he's just going to be a hard ass. But his is actually the dragon, and that's just very fitting when you actually look at his character. Kanzai the tiger is that one little pissed off looking dude who definitely has the tiger theme going on, and he definitely has a short temper. There's also Cheetle, who seems to be half human, half dog, and she seems to be one of the smarter members of the group, and she also happens to be incredibly adorable. There's also Sacho the horse, and he's incredibly ugly, but I really couldn't tell you more about that character, really. And that leaves us with one member, and that is Jing, and surprisingly enough, his animal is actually the boar, and I guess that sort of goes with his wild nature, but he doesn't really have like an outfit to sort of go with his theme, but still, that's beside the point. Jing actually leaves a massive impact this week because he sort of manipulates all of the events behind this whole election process, because they've all met together, they want to decide who's going to be in charge and who's going to make the rules for this big election, and Pariston obviously wants to do this, and nobody wants him to be in charge because they all hate him apparently. The minute he walks into the room late, they're all completely just chapping his ass. They do not like this guy at all, and like I said, I can sort of understand. He seems like sort of an underhanded snake, even though he is a rat. I'm sure there is some importance to that theme, him being a rat. What's really cool about Jing, though, is that he actually arrived a few days earlier to manipulate all of the events behind this election, and it's all stuff that he sort of just guessed on his own, and it all came true, and it all worked out, and in a sense, he conned all of the Zodiacs. In fact, he sort of said this is basically how con artists work, this is how criminals work, and he just basically used it in real life. And he's also doing this just for the kicks and thrills of it, you know? He's basically just an adventurer and thrill seeker, and everybody seems to assume that of Jing as well. But the best part of the episode definitely comes at the end when we get to see cameos from every single major character from Hunter x Hunter. Pretty much the ones that are alive, but that's because they're having this big election. So if you had a favorite character from pretty much every major arc, you're probably at least going to see them here. I mean, you even got to see the original Examiners, you got to see everybody from Greed Island. My favorite cameo this week definitely has to go to Hisoka and Illumi. I love when Hisoka showed up because he's not there to vote, he's there to troll the three members of the Zodiac who are running the election. He does this shitty little magic trick in front of them, it pisses off Kanzai the tiger, and then he just sort of walks away and that's it. but he's also gauging the strength of everyone in the room, and he's even giving them a number score, and the people who are in the Zodiacs obviously have a higher number, and even Illumi has a high number as well, and I'm not sure why he's doing this. Maybe he just has like a weird scouter inside of his eyeball and he's not telling us, but still, this leads to a scene where Illumi and Hisoka get to finally talk to each other and discuss some of the things that have been going on. Hisoka's apparently been traveling around the world trying to figure out more about Crollo and trying to, chase him down. Because last we saw with Crollo, I think they tried to get the guy from Greed Island to remove that Nen barrier around him so that he could get all of his powers back. And they never really followed up on that, and I hope they do soon, because that's a pretty interesting part of the story. But the thing that really caught me by surprise, and they do sort of give it away in the brand new intro this week, is the fact that Killua actually has another brother. Yes, they had this old photo, and you get to see there's this younger kid who's actually not facing the camera. They're definitely trying to keep it secret, even though they give it away completely in the intro of the show, which, again, does not really change the song, but the imagery there is all really cool. It gives away some of the plot details that we're going to see, maybe some of the action scenes we're going to see, and some of the returning characters, and it looks like a lot of important stuff involving Killua is going to take place in this arc. And I'm down for that because I think Killua is an awesome character. So what's the rundown on this week's episode of Hunter x Hunter? I really liked it a lot for a number of reasons. One, there were a ton of brand new characters who were introduced, and a lot of the times when a brand new arc begins, there's a new intro, and that gets you really excited for everything, so you get that new intro with all the pretty animation and showing all the brand new badass characters, and then we finally get introduced to all of them, and they're all really interesting, they have great designs, and I cannot wait to see what they are truly capable of, because they're essentially the next in line for chairmen, so I imagine they're like really, really powerful, and they all have very interesting abilities. Another reason this episode is awesome is because of all of those cameos at the end. It really reminds you of how far the series has come, and it sort of like rewards the viewer in a sense for like watching this long, because whenever you see that scene, you're going to be completely reminded of all the times you saw those characters, and you're just like, oh my god, there's Hanzo! And friggin' Satos, and holy shit, the Great Island guys! You're just, I don't know what it was, but that scene just really put a big smile on my face. Hisoka and Illumi returning is awesome, because their status as villains, anti-heroes, is still sort of unclear, and I love the fact that they sort of just, like, shrug off this whole, like, Chimera ant incident. They're just like, oh yeah, ant mutants, whatever, big deal. Hisoka, I would love to have seen you try to confront Meruem and actually do something. There's no way you're as powerful as that dude. That's what's really interesting, too. After seeing the battle with Netero and with Meruem, just like, the expectations for what I want to see from the series now, I can't put them up too high on a pedestal, because we need to remember that those two characters were on like a completely different plane than a lot of the other main characters of the show. So that was more like a preview maybe of things to come in the future, and it's all going to build up to that event. So as far as animation and artwork goes this week, this was not like a big bombastic action episode, but the artwork was really on point this week, especially with all of the returning characters, and especially the brand new 12 Zodiac characters. They're all incredibly distinct from one another, and I really can't be reminded of almost any character that I've seen from any other anime series. They look that unique, and that's really impressive. I really just can't wait to see more of their abilities and what they're all about. I'm still really surprised they're not going back to the whole thing with Gon. And speaking of Gon, I don't know what's up with Jing, but maybe he's like the worst father of all time. Does he not give two shits about his son at all? I mean, he needs to see him at least once, or maybe he's just so adamant that he really wants Gon to, like, become a better hunter so that he can eventually find him. Like, he doesn't want to, like, give up on that, but I still think it's pretty messed up where he's like, oh yeah, Pariston, you can go see him, but I really don't give a shit. But that's beside the point. I'm sure there's a lot of things that I'm not quite understanding quite yet. All I know is a brand new arc of Hunter x Hunter is beginning. This was a good episode that's getting me really excited for that. There's also a brand new ending, but it's really not all that special. It's just them standing around until Leario breaks the tension and decides to look at the screen, breaking the fourth wall. And it's pretty much the same song and everything, so, you know, there it is and everything. But holy crap, I am excited for this episode. I have nothing but hype for the rest of Hunter x Hunter, and I pray the animation continues. As much as I'd love to read the manga version, I much prefer watching it in anime form. So if they can keep it up just like this, keep it going forever, and please animate the remaining manga, because this is too good of a series to give up at this point. It is freaking amazing. Check it out, guys. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10 this week. I just loved this episode. Thank you guys for watching my review today. Before you leave, please tell me who is your favorite member of the 12 Zodiacs and why. And remember, guys, before you leave, hit that like button so you can give this video a thumbs up. It's really, really easy to do and it helps out our videos tremendously. But the best way to help us out is to watch our videos and to subscribe to our channel. It's real easy to do. I'm sure there's a button around my head somewhere. You can also check us out on Facebook and on Twitter. I'll put links to those in the description box below. That concludes my review today, guys. Super Kami Guru 9000. Out.